A late night in Baghdad, the air thick with tension as a private jet touches down on the dimly lit runway of the international airport. Out steps Qassem Soleimani, Iran's most powerful general, the man who orchestrated proxy wars across the Middle East, untouchable for decades despite countless enemies plotting his demise. Unbeknownst to him, in the shadows of that very moment, Israeli Mossad agents had already marked his movements through a web of signals intelligence, feeding precise data to the CIA, setting the stage for an execution strike that would unfold in minutes with surgical precision from American drones hovering unseen above. This was no ordinary assassination. It was the culmination of years of covert collaboration, where technology met human betrayal, and one car's path became the final target in a high-stakes game of global power. What follows is the untold story of how Mossad turned Soleimani's routine arrival into his last journey, revealing the invisible machinery of modern espionage that shapes our world. Qassem Soleimani rose through the ranks of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps to command the Quds Force, becoming the shadowy architect of Tehran's influence from the Levant to Yemen, directing militias, smuggling weapons, and countering American forces with ruthless efficiency. Born in a rural village in eastern Iran during the 1950s, he transformed from a simple construction worker into a national hero during the brutal Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, where his tactical brilliance earned him the unwavering loyalty of Iran's elite fighters and the fear of adversaries across the region. By the time he became the face of Iran's foreign operations, Soleimani had masterminded the survival of Bashar al-Assad in Syria, empowered Hezbollah in Lebanon, and fueled insurgencies in Iraq that claimed hundreds of American lives, making him not just a general, but a symbol of Iran's defiant reach into the heart of its enemies' strongholds. His influence extended far beyond battlefields, weaving a network of Shiite militias that challenged Sunni extremists and Western interests alike, positioning him as the indispensable enforcer for Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Presidents from George W. Bush to Donald Trump placed a multi-million-dollar bounty on his head. Yet Soleimani moved with audacious confidence, often in plain sight, evading capture through a combination of loyal bodyguards, false trails, and ironclad operational security that frustrated intelligence agencies for over a decade. In late 2019, as tensions escalated with attacks on American embassies and oil tankers attributed to his proxies, Soleimani's shadow loomed larger than ever, prompting a rare alignment of intelligence resources between the United States and its closest Middle Eastern ally, Israel, whose own existential threats from Iran made Soleimani public enemy number one. This convergence set the groundwork for an operation that would expose the fragility of even the most fortified figures in the clandestine world of state-sponsored warfare. Behind every lethal strike lies an intricate tapestry of intelligence, woven with fragments of data from satellites, intercepted communications, informants, whispers, and relentless surveillance. The operation to locate Qassem Soleimani was no different. Years of espionage efforts gradually tilted the scales from blind pursuit to strategic certainty. At the heart of this intelligence triumph was the Israeli Mossad, whose unmatched expertise in signal intelligence and human infiltration played a decisive role. In the weeks and months leading to the strike, Mossad operatives meticulously monitored Soleimani's communications and movements. Reports later revealed that Mossad provided the United States with Soleimani's critical phone numbers and access to his communication networks just hours before his ill-fated flight from Damascus to Baghdad. This information was gold. It allowed American intelligence officers to triangulate his position in real time once he landed. But the story was more complex than just phone numbers. Israeli informants embedded in Syria and Lebanon supplied crucial human intelligence, confirming flight manifests and security details. This was complemented by overhead drone surveillance and satellite imagery, a high-tech net spread across the Middle East sky that tracked every movement on and around the runway. The collaboration between Israel's Mossad and the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency was rare in its depth, marked by a level of trust and coordination designed to ensure flawless execution. Mossad's contribution went beyond conventional spying. It marked Soleimani's car, effectively turning an otherwise ordinary vehicle into a glowing target on American intelligence screens. This blend of human intelligence and electronic eavesdropping transformed an airport in Baghdad from a bustling transit point into a virtual kill zone. This layered intelligence network was not without risks. Informants faced danger at every turn, and the margin for error was razor thin. The combined efforts of drones, SIGINT experts, and on-the-ground spies speak to the modern age of warfare, where battles are won not just on land, sea, or air, but in encrypted signals and secret messages passed through shadowy networks. This web of intelligence created a convergent point that no amount of security could fully mask: the precise moment and place where Soleimani's fate would be sealed. While satellites and signals painted the broad strokes of Soleimani's movements, it was the human spies who delivered the fatal details, embedding themselves deep within Iran's fortified networks at great personal peril. These operatives, often locals recruited through financial incentives, ideological shifts, or coerced loyalties, penetrated the Quds forces' inner circles, passing fragments of information that coalesced into a complete operational picture. One such figure emerged later in Iranian court documents as Mahmoud Mousavi Majd, a low-level logistics coordinator whose routine duties included ferrying burner phones between senior commanders, unknowingly becoming the linchpin in Soleimani's downfall. Mousavi Majd's story, pieced together from Tehran's public confessions, illustrates the gritty reality of espionage in the region. Stationed near the Syrian border, he handled communications gear for Quds Force officers shuttling between Damascus and Tehran, swapping devices to evade tracking while relaying orders from Soleimani himself. Over months, he quietly fed location data, flight schedules, and even vehicle identifiers to handlers linked to both CIA case officers and Mossad cutouts, motivated by promises of relocation and wealth for his family in a life shadowed by endless conflict. These human assets operated in a world of constant betrayal risks, where a single, misplaced word could trigger brutal interrogations or summary executions by Iran's intelligence apparatus. Kurdish counterterrorism units in northern Iraq, quietly aligned with American interests, provided on-the-ground eyes near Baghdad, spotting Soleimani's convoy patterns from prior visits and confirming the make and markings of his unmarked SUVs. Mossad's role amplified this human chain by verifying the phone handoffs through intercepted signals, ensuring that when Soleimani grabbed a fresh device upon landing, it lit up like a beacon on Allied surveillance grids. Delta Force spotters, positioned discreetly around the airport perimeter under the guise of routine security rotations, fused this intelligence with live feeds, their sniper scopes trained not for the shot, but to relay final confirmations. These individuals embodied the human cost of intelligence, dominance, living double lives amid militias they infiltrated, their courage buying the precious seconds needed for drones to lock on. Without them, no amount of technology could bridge the gap between suspicion and certainty, turning abstract threats into a marked vehicle rolling toward its end under the Baghdad night sky. The true genius of the Soleimani operation lay not in any single piece of intelligence, but in the seamless synchronization of disparate agencies across nations and continents, where Mossad's pinpoint data fed directly into CIA fusion centers that orchestrated American military precision. In the tense hours before the strike, analysts in Langley and Tel Aviv pored over converging streams of information, cross-verifying phone pings with drone footage and informant reports to create a living map of Soleimani's trajectory from Syrian airspace into Iraqi territory. This rare partnership, forged in mutual recognition of Iran's existential threat, bypassed traditional bureaucratic hurdles through pre-established back-channels, honed during years of joint operations against shared foes like Hezbollah and nuclear proliferators. On the operational front, elite Delta Force teams deployed to Baghdad under civilian covers positioned themselves at key vantage points around the airport, their laser designators ready to paint targets if drones faltered, while Kurdish counter-terrorism group units, battle-hardened allies with intimate knowledge of local militia movements, provided real-time ground truth on convoy routes and security protocols. Overhead, a constellation of MQ-9 Reaper drones circled silently at high altitude. Their sensors slaved to Mossad-supplied cell identifiers that locked onto Soleimani's device the instant he deplaned, transforming abstract coordinates into a pulsing icon on command screens thousands of miles away in Nevada. CIA case officers acted as the nerve center, relaying Mossad's final confirmations to the Joint Special Operations Command, where commanders weighed split-second decisions on rules of engagement amid swirling diplomatic pressures from Iraqi hosts unaware of the impending action. This coordination extended to weapon selection, opting for modified Hellfire missiles equipped with kinetic blades rather than explosives to limit collateral damage in the crowded airport vicinity, a choice reflecting the operation's calculated restraint amid its lethal intent. Every element, from human spotters whispering updates via encrypted bursts to aerial platforms maintaining unbroken visual custody, converged in a symphony of controlled chaos, ensuring that when Soleimani's convoy began its fateful roll toward the city, no variable remained unchecked and the mark on his car burned bright across Allied networks. As the clock ticked past midnight on January 3, 2020, Soleimani's unmarked private jet rolled to a stop on the tarmac at Baghdad International Airport, its engines winding down into an eerie silence, broken only by distant airport clamor and the unseen hum of American drones maintaining unblinking vigil high overhead. He emerged into the cool night air, flanked by a small entourage, including Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, the Iraqi militia leader whose Kataib Hezbollah forces had just days earlier stormed the American embassy compound, both men stepping briskly toward a trio of black SUVs waiting in the shadows, their vehicles blending seamlessly into the routine chaos of late-night arrivals. Mossad's intelligence had already flagged the lead car's digital signature through Soleimani's freshly activated phone, a beacon pulsing across secure links to CIA operators who confirmed the target package with 99% certainty, authorizing the strike sequence from a control room where tension hung as thick as the desert fog. Within moments, the convoy lurched forward from the airport perimeter, headlights cutting through the darkness along the access road toward central Baghdad, oblivious to the Reaper drones now dipping into attack profile 7,000 feet above, their Hellfire missiles armed with R-9X warheads, specially engineered variants that unfurled 6 razor-sharp blades upon impact to shred occupants inside vehicles without the fiery blast radius of conventional explosives. Ground teams from Delta Force and Kurdish allies relayed final visuals through encrypted channels, noting the precise spacing of the 3 cars and the absence of civilian traffic, while Command approved the firing solution based on Mossad-verified cell triangulation that pinned Soleimani immovably in the first SUV's passenger seat. At approximately 12:47 a.m. local time, the first missile streaked earthward in a near-silent descent, slamming into the lead vehicle with a muted thump that erupted into a fireball, followed seconds later by 2 more strikes that obliterated the trailing cars in rapid succession, leaving twisted metal wreckage smoldering on the roadside. In under 30 seconds, the operation transitioned from poised anticipation to irreversible finality, with post-strike assessments confirming Soleimani's death through biometric matches against fragmented remains, identified by a distinctive red ring on his finger amid the debris. The choice of kinetic warheads, minimized shrapnel scatter into nearby structures, a testament to the precision engineering that allowed this execution to unfold mere miles from civilian zones without broader casualties. Though the acrid smoke rising into the Baghdad skyline signaled the end of an era. Drone feeds captured the frozen tableau of destruction, relaying confirmation back through the chain to Washington and Jerusalem, where operators exhaled in quiet acknowledgement of a mission executed with the cold efficiency that defines the pinnacle of covert statecraft. The dawn breaking over Baghdad on January 3rd revealed a landscape forever altered, with the charred husks of 3 SUVs serving as stark monuments to the strike's success, while news of Soleimani's death rippled outward like a shockwave through Iran's power structure and the volatile alliances of the Middle East. Iranian state media confirmed the loss within hours, portraying their fallen commander as a martyr whose blood would ignite vengeance, prompting Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei to vow severe retaliation and mobilizing the Revolutionary Guards into a frenzy of public mourning that swelled into millions across Tehran's streets. The United States braced for escalation as President Donald Trump addressed the nation, framing the assassination as a preemptive necessity against imminent threats orchestrated by Soleimani's hand, a declaration that thrust Iraq into diplomatic turmoil, with its parliament voting to expel American forces amid accusations of sovereignty violation. True to their word, Iran launched over a dozen ballistic missiles at American bases in Iraq just days later, on January 8th, targeting Al-Assad Air Base and Erbil with precision strikes that injured over 100 U.S. troops through traumatic brain injuries, but spared lives through advance warnings relayed via back channels. A calibrated response signaling restraint amid the brink of all-out war. This tit-for-tat exchange reshaped regional dynamics overnight, weakening Iran's proxy networks as militias like Kataib Hezbollah fractured without Soleimani's unifying command, while Sunni factions and Gulf states quietly welcomed the disruption to Tehran's hegemonic ambitions. Globally, markets shuddered, with oil prices spiking on fears of Strait of Hormuz closures, and NATO allies grappled with the precedent of extraterritorial targeted killings, exposing the fragile threads holding Middle Eastern stability together. In the ensuing months, investigations by Iraqi authorities yielded little beyond rubble analysis, as American forces maintained operational silence. But the strikes' ripple effects lingered in stalled nuclear talks, emboldened Israeli airstrikes on Iranian assets in Syria, and a subtle shift in power vacuums that empowered rivals like Saudi Arabia. The operation's fallout underscored the double-edged nature of such precision victories, eliminating one threat only to seed unpredictable aftershocks across a powder keg region where every action cascades into unforeseen escalations and realignments. Baghdad's airport resumed flights amid heightened security, a mundane return masking the profound geopolitical fault lines cracked open by a single night's work. In the shadows cast by Soleimani's death, Iran's intelligence services launched a ruthless purge, methodically hunting down the human links in the chain that enabled the strike, transforming victory into a grim ledger of retribution against those who dared betray the regime from within. Mahmoud Mousavi Majd, the courier whose phone handoffs had unwittingly illuminated Soleimani's path, faced swift arrest in the spring of 2020. Subjected to televised confessions where he detailed passing vehicle details and flight coordinates to CIA-linked contacts via Mossad intermediaries. His execution, by hanging broadcast as a warning to potential turncoats across the Revolutionary Guard's ranks. Similar fates befell others, including a border operative named Mahmoud Kudeh, convicted of funneling Quds Force schedules from Syria, their public trials revealing fragments of the broader network that had evaded detection for years until the strike's success drew Tehran's vengeful gaze. These executions underscored the perpetual cat-and-mouse game of espionage, where Mossad and CIA assets embedded in Iranian proxies paid the ultimate price for their intelligence hauls, their sacrifices fueling a cycle of recruitment and retaliation that persists unabated in the regions underground. Iranian authorities claim to dismantle over a dozen cells tied to the operation, executing 4 high-profile spies by mid-2020 while parading others in orange jumpsuits reminiscent of Guantanamo, a psychological ploy to deter future collaborations, even as new informants inevitably emerged from economic desperation and ideological fractures. The human toll extended beyond the grave, with families of the condemned vanishing into witness protection limbo or facing collective punishment, highlighting how intelligence victories exact a quiet but profound cost on the individuals caught in the crossfire. This phase of the Shadow War evolved rather than ended with Soleimani's demise. As Israel intensified cyber intrusions into Iranian command structures, and the United States bolstered signals intelligence platforms, ensuring the flow of data that keeps high-value targets perpetually in the crosshairs. Mossad's role in the Baghdad strike only deepened Tehran's paranoia, prompting fortified communications protocols and bounties on Israeli operatives. Yet, the cycle endures, a testament to the inexhaustible nature of clandestine conflict, where one marked car leads inexorably to the next. The executions served not as closure, but as grim milestones in an ongoing intelligence contest, where the spies of yesterday become the ghosts enabling tomorrow's operations amid the unyielding demands of national survival. Targeted killings like the one that felled Soleimani at Baghdad airport force a reckoning with the moral ambiguities of statecraft, where nations weigh the elimination of a single individual against the potential unraveling of broader conflicts, revealing assassination not as a relic of barbarism, but as a calibrated instrument in the arsenal of modern deterrence. Strategically, removing Soleimani disrupted Iran's seamless proxy orchestration across multiple fronts, fracturing command lines that once synchronized Hezbollah rockets, Syrian militias, and Iraqi insurgents into a cohesive threat. Yet this decapitation strike also invited retaliation cycles that tested American resolve and strained alliances without delivering a knockout blow to Tehran's ambitions. Ethically, the operation's precision sparing civilians through blade warheads and timed execution stands in stark contrast to Soleimani's own legacy of indiscriminate bombings and militia atrocities, prompting debates on whether such interventions uphold international norms or erode them by normalizing extrajudicial death from afar. The Mossad-CIA synergy exemplified in this strike highlights the power of allied intelligence fusion, turning isolated capabilities into overwhelming dominance, but it also exposes vulnerabilities in a world where digital footprints and human weaknesses render even the most guarded figures traceable, raising questions about the sustainability of such preeminence against adaptive adversaries. Critics argue that assassinations breed martyrs and harden resolve, as evidenced by Iran's accelerated nuclear pursuits and militia resurgence post-Soleimani, while proponents point to diminished attack tempos on U.S. assets in the years following, suggesting a net strategic gain amid the fog of perpetual low-intensity warfare. This duality underscores a profound truth of invisible statecraft. Victories come laced with unseen prices, from betrayed spies swinging from gallows to the erosion of diplomatic off-ramps, compelling leaders to confront whether the clarity of a drone's finality justifies the shadows it casts across generations. Ultimately, the Baghdad execution reflects a paradigm where moral gravity yields to survival imperatives, with Mossad's marking of that fateful car embodying the cold calculus that defines great power competition, necessary risks taken in secrecy to avert open cataclysms, yet forever altering the human landscape of enmity and alliance in ways no treaty ever could. Years after the smoke cleared from that Baghdad roadside, the Middle East settles into an uneasy equilibrium, with Baghdad International Airport humming once more under tightened security protocols, private jets landing without fanfare, as if the night of January 3rd never etched its scar into history's ledger. Soleimani's successors scrambled to knit together frayed proxy networks amid Israeli airstrikes that now face less coordinated resistance, while American forces negotiate persistent bases in Iraq against a backdrop of parliamentary resolutions long faded into rhetoric. The region's fault lines redrawn by the precision of one operation's fallout. This quiet resumption of ordinary rhythms belies the enduring legacy of Mossad's intelligence handoff and the CIA's lethal follow-through, a chapter that continues to ripple through diplomatic cables, militia safehouses, and intelligence briefings shaping tomorrow's conflicts. The story of how one car's marking led to a general's end invites reflection on the hidden forces steering our world. What do you think was the true cost of this strike? And could another Soleimani rise from the ashes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like if this deep dive into espionage gripped you, and subscribe for more untold tales of global shadow wars that reveal the real machinery behind the headlines.